everyone. So today we're going to talk about an autism case. The clinician who's asked the question has shared all the details in terms of the attention, the receptive expressive language, and a few other details which we have compiled and written down in a slide so you all can read and understand the profile better. Here, let's first talk about the attention. As we all know, it is a prerequisite for language learning. In this case, the attention span is limited to only 2 minutes. So what we need to understand here is how to figure out and inculcate our language goals in that attention span that the child will learn, instead of focusing on how to increase the attention span, because for that, occupation therapists are the ones who are more skilled to do that and can do it better than us. So for this, what we need to understand is we have to obviously keep our activities very short, but also make and pick our goals very specifically. For example, if I want to teach receptive vocabulary to the child, I will pick the number of words that I want to work with throughout the week. For example, I just pick 2 words, that is 2 nouns, maybe brush and comb. So what I'll do, I'll pick 1 word in my session and stimulate in a variety of settings like brush mama, brush didi, brush baby. Then move on to objects like brush chair, brush table. Just to make it a little more fun, I would dip the brush in the water and spray it on the child's hand and face. Or maybe I would just take the brush and say roll, 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 brush, and highlight the word brush basically. Mind you that here, each of this activity like rolling the brush or spraying water from the brush, these are individual activities each, because the attention span is that limited. So this is how short your activity has to be. What I need you to understand here is I am not taking separate attention activities like beading or coloring to inculcate my language goals. Okay? We will work and stick to our goals and activities and build attention through it. Like for example, if I am doing the spraying activity, we will take 2 turns in this session, and maybe in the next session I'll try and move in on to 4 turns or 5 turns depending on how the child is doing. However, that may not always be possible in terms of like hyperactive kids, and you might need to inculcate and work specifically with movement based activities only. So that is your skill to understand and decide which activities will work and how to figure out to incorporate your language goals. The other thing is reinforcement. When and how you reinforce makes the whole difference. It gives the peak in the activity to the child. What do I mean by peak? Let's just say, for example, I am playing some simple but fun game, maybe XN0 with a friend. What is going to be the peak for me in that game? What's going to be the moments that I'll remember? It's going to be the last move that we, either of us will do, which will choose the winner, which will decide the winner. In future, if I'm going to ever talk about the game, that's the part that we'll talk about. Like, she did that move, that's why she won. That's what we're going to talk about. That was the peak for us. So similarly, your activity could be super fun and super enjoyable, but if you don't give the child a peak to pick up and then to learn from, he's just going to enjoy the activity and go home. So maybe if you gave him a peak, how to give him the peak? By reinforcing. Maybe he did something that you wanted, you clapped for him, you gave him a sticker, you played the music that he likes. He's going to associate like, oh, I did this, I got something good in return, and he's going to try to do it more. That is about the reinforcement part, and also try to be very specific with your reinforcements. You can't be very generic like, oh, well done, good job. Child is just going to maybe like it, but he will not understand what good he did. If he maybe he picked up the correct object, you go and be precise like, oh, great job picking up the correct object, or picking up the brush, that's right. That's how he'll understand, oh, I did the correct thing. She said brush, I picked up brush, so she reinforced me. Okay. The next part here is a lot of us say that I'm working on his attention span, his sitting compliance, but he's just not giving me eye contact. Let's understand this. If I am doing some work and if somebody else is telling me something, do I have to necessarily give them eye contact to pay attention? No, I need to listen to the person to pay attention, right? So of course eye contact is important, but listening here is going to be more important, because the child is not listening. I'll first work on his commands where I know he's listened to the whole command and he's following it. So I'm going to reinforce again specifically like, great job listening, good job, I love that you listened. That's how I'm gonna get him to listen to me first, and eventually probably he'll start giving me eye contact also because of listening appropriately. So this was about the reinforcements and the receptive language learning part. Moving on to one more thing that the clinician mentioned, that the child is not responding to the activities in the session. So I can understand three reasons for it. The first would be the obvious one, he's not interested in the activities you chose for him. It doesn't excite him. The next could be the activity that you chose for him was probably too difficult for him, or maybe too easy for him, and so he just didn't participate. For both these reasons, what I would suggest you do is, in your first 2 sessions, fill a KYC form, a Know Your Client form, wherein you actually spend the entire time just getting to know the child. Get to know all his likes, all his dislikes, his favorite toy, his favorite color, his favorite game, his favorite shirt, everything, and then use it in the session. I do that with all my cases, and they respond because I'm using things that they already like. So I would suggest do that. The third reason I can think of is probably he has some sensory issues, like he's always fidgeting, he's always looking here and there, his body always needs to move. In such cases, like sensory issues, you will have to work with an occupational therapist and then figure out your goals accordingly. Moving on to the expression part for this child. Here we are going to do the very common thing that we do, and we tell all our parents, if he is dragging you or pointing to certain things to express his needs, ignore it and try to get him to vocalize something, and then you give that thing. So here the child is already vocalizing amma and I. So what I would do is, every time, maybe if he says the word amma, I'll tell the mother, you come in every time he says it and ask him, oh, what happened? Do you need this? Something like that. Have that kind of an interaction every time the amma word comes up. Once this will happen over and over again, he's probably going to associate it that, oh, the word amma probably means mom because she gives me attention every time I say this word. That's how you can, work through the scale. Also during my sessions, like if I'm again going back to the word brush, I would just use some prompts, like, using my fingers and go like bub, 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 brush, and try to exaggerate the initial sounds to get out at least some form of vocalization. And the last part for the video here would be the clinician has tried and introduced PECS for this child. However, he's not responding to flashcards. And what I figured from, seeing this child, I think he is going to respond to 3D objects better than using 2D images. So I would say stick to objects and, the toys that are like actual 3D objects instead of PECS. But again, if you want to work with PECS and if the parents are not, ready, like we don't want our child to work with PECS, we have decided to come up with an entire new video where we'll talk specifically about PECS in detail. So that video will be, we'll be uploading it just after this video. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you all learned something from this video. If you have any feedbacks, anything to add on, do write to us or comment down below and let us know. Thank you.